Okay, so my article is called How High School Sex Education is Changing Post Me Too by Eliza Brooke from GQ. And it is about how sex education in schools has evolved since the early 1990s with some of the social movements that have taken place. So, ideas of consent policies were called for by college students in the early 90s as a result of campus sexual assault, and at the time were seen as completely ridiculous and kind of even ridiculed. However, now consent is one of the most talked about concepts in high school sex education. And according to studies done by Dr. William Hall from UNC Chapel Hill in 2019, 97% of U.S. adolescents do receive sex education before age 18. However, only 36% of states require teachings on consent, and only 54% of states require teachings on sexual violence, which is still kind of alarmingly low. So my article talks about this movement towards holistic teachings on sex and intimacy, and uses the case study of the Urban School, which is a private school in San Francisco, where sophomores take a 6-week course on human sexuality and personal integrity, which includes interpersonal skills, trust, dating, power dynamics, and breakups, as well as content on sex and consent. So a teacher from this school, Shafia Zaloom, is quoted saying, "Right now kids are bombarded with a culture that's messaging them very strongly to disconnect and dehumanize their sexuality." And that certainly relates to a lot of what we've been talking about in this class about science, and in the same way, like science, framing sex and consent as inhuman or rigid is not only inaccurate but is harmful for student learners. And so really this shows the importance of inclusive holistic curriculum about sex and sexuality, and the importance of diverse people contributing to that curriculum. And so the future implications of this holistic sex education is that educators could teach sex as a subjective experience that varies by person and by situation instead of by some rigid biological event.